They are the top monster.
Hey,
Okay.
Wait,
They
see.
take care. When they do wetin
I think I'm going to use it there. Eh?
Let's recharge it. Let me call it.
Just talk rubbish. Just listen
Like,
to you.
wow. If you think that will not get you, then me.
We need to be very careful who we share apartments with because these killings is becoming very common. So earlier in July of 2023, somewhere around the 8th, a young man by the name of Uchenna Nnaji was found dead in his apartment after his neighbors began perceiving an offensive odor coming from his place. And by the time they called the authorities and broke it down and discovered his body in the pool of blood, along with massive weapons that may have been used to kill him, just laying down there, that is when they believed or suspected that he may have been killed days before he was even discovered. It was even said that they found some phone chargers or USB cords around his neck, which indicated that he may have fought or struggled with his assailant. After his body was evacuated, the police said they began their investigation. At the initial time, we did not have enough details to go on with the story. I wanted to talk about the story then, but all that we knew was that his body was found, and there were suspicions and speculations that it may be his friend, a girlfriend, or thieves, or someone he had brought into his house for hookup. We just did not know where or what it was. It's not until recently, about the 19th of July this month, when it was said the people believed to have killed Uchenna were eventually found and arrested with his properties, his cars, phones, and other valuables of his. And according to what was said, these people or this young man who killed him or who spearheaded the killing of Uchenna was somebody Uchenna allowed to come and live with him for a period of time. This was said to be his friend whom he let stay with him for a while till he most likely probably get his own place and stand on his feet. Wow. Just imagine the level of evil that people are capable of. And you would not even believe the length that this killer by the name of Jonah Alpha went in order to get away with this, or in order to attempt to get away with it, because clearly and obviously, as it stands now, he did not get away with it. So, according to how it was believed Uchenna was killed, it was said that after Uchenna led Jonah and another of his friend, who is being named as an accomplice, into his home to stay with him for a while, they connived and planned to kill and rob Uchenna of his property. Uchenna was eventually killed 4 days before the 8th, which may have been on the 4th of July, before his body was discovered on the 8th. And after they did so, they took his valuables, his mobile phones, and then his vehicle, and left his compound. Now, Uchenna, who is an engineer, was said to have a brother who is a soldier, and that it was his brother who started trying to reach out to him and could not get to him, that decided to ask another of their brother who also lived in Abuja to go and check on Uchenna. So when Uchenna's younger brother or other brother went to his place in Abuja to look for him because they've been trying to get to him, he was told by the security man that Uchenna had left with his friends. And this is actually where I'm confused, because if the security man honestly can say that Uchenna had left, maybe he was the one who opened the gate for the friends and he did not even know that Uchenna was not in the car, or maybe he assumed or seen that Uchenna's vehicle was moving out of his apartment or moving out of the compound. He most likely presumed that Uchenna was the one driving it. So that could have been why the security man told Uchenna's brother that his brother was not in the house and that he had left with his friends and they had not come back since. And so it was said Uchenna's brother did not push it. He just informed his older brother that is the situation, that Uchenna was not at home. So it was after a few days, about 4 days later, on the 8th of July, that when the neighbors began perceiving the offensive odor coming from his apartment, they knew something was up. They informed Uchenna's sister, who is believed to have a spare key to Uchenna's apartment, and that it was when she came and opened the apartment that they found Uchenna in his pool of blood, already at the early stage of decomposition, with a big sledgehammer. And surprisingly, when the police came to evacuate his body, like we talked about, they also found a note that the killer left on Uchenna's body. This is where the story even gets more interesting and tricky, because this is part of Jonah's trick or attempt or effort to get away with killing Uchenna that did not even work. So it was said that the notes that the police found contained a letter from the point of view of the killer, saying that the reason why he had killed Uchenna was because Uchenna had killed his own sister and used her for rituals. And this was part of the story we heard at the initial time when this news first broke out, that an engineer's body was found in his house, and the later suggested that it was somebody that he had used for ritual, that the sibling had come to take revenge, and people started suspecting Uchenna of being a ritualist. But when the police looked at the notes, they were like, this doesn't make sense. Why would the killer want to write a note, and why would the killer want to, make it look like something, it was clear to the police that this was a form of deviation. It was clear to the police that the killers were trying to deviate, because the note suggested that it was a native doctor or some kind of priest who had come to avenge or kill Uchenna for the things that he had done. And tagging Uchenna as a Yahoo boy or as a Yahoo Plus boy who killed other people for money rituals was probably a way to get the people, or get us who will hear the story, to not feel bad for him. But luckily enough, the police did not believe in that note. They suspected that something did not make sense, and they suspected that something was off with the notes. And so they started tracing Uchenna's mobile phone, which is ironically very traceable, and they also tried to trace his vehicle, which had a tracker in it, and that was why it was so easy to catch these two dumb thieves. Which one of them is getting attention on the internet because of how handsome and good-looking he is, suspicious of why a good-looking young man like that would carry out such an act. And I keep saying this, evil does not have a face. Some of the most good-looking people are in prison, and a lot of them bank on their good looks and innocent face to commit these crimes, because they know, mere looking at them, not many people would believe they are capable of such. So Jonah Alpha and another young man who they say is from Edo State were both caught and arrested in Kaduna. That was where they found them with the phone and the vehicle that belonged to Uchenna. And videos of them in the police station has begun to circulate. But as it stands now, nothing else has been said. They've not made any confession. They've not been paraded officially. If they get paraded and eventually get to give an interview or give their own side of the story, we will update you. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on notification. But for now, we are just frustrated and probably angered at the fact that these are people who call themselves Uchenna's friends. These are people who are friendly to him. These are people who he let stay in his house because they did not have anywhere else to stay, and he believed maybe after a while they will find their footings, and only for them to end up killing him for mere material things. A mobile phone that will be out of date in next year, or a vehicle that will be old school in a few years' time. And that is what they took a human life for. And when I was hearing this story, it was almost clear to me that Jonah, the guy, this main suspect here, might have been very jealous of Uchenna, because from what it was said, he stole Uchenna's properties. He stole everything. It's one thing for him to have stolen his vehicle. It's one thing for him to have stolen his money. It's another thing to steal his jewelries. But it was said he stole Uchenna's perfumes, clothes, outfits, and just petty things in his household. That is to show how broke he was. And there are chances that, or there are speculations that he was even found or caught wearing clothes that belonged to the late Uchenna. Articles described it as though he wanted to be Uchenna himself. He wanted to be like Uchenna to the point that he had to steal everything and his identity, which is so crazy and weird to me, if you ask me. I guess this is one way to avoid people who admire you, or people who always talk about, I want to be like you, or bro, I want to be like you when I grow up, or, people who always want to look up to you. Sometimes this is psychotic in nature. This is crazy in nature. Or people who are always probably wanting to buy things, or all of a sudden they have interest in certain things just because you have those things. These kinds of people can be very dangerous. It's just painful that all of this would have been avoided if Uchenna had not opened his doors to people who he believed were his friends. This is not the first time we are seeing stories like this of friends or roommates or people who we let in our home do something bad to these people. This is not the first time we're having stories like this. This is not probably going to be the last time. It's just unfortunate that As much as we can be careful, how careful can we be? And who can we really trust? Because it's looking like this is becoming a trend, and it's looking like we out there need to be more careful of the people we let in our home or the people we open our doors for to even spend the night, because obviously we can't trust many people and not everybody deserves to be trusted. So guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to also subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Turn on notification button if you haven't. And also, I want to hear your opinions on this and how you try or how you think people can deal with friends who may appear or who may turn out to be enemies later, because it's hard to know. It's hard to know. You might be friends with someone for many years and believe you know them, and one day they're tying a USB cord around your neck because they want to steal your car or steal your perfume. It makes no sense. It's difficult to know who to trust these days. It's hard to know. I don't even know if it's possible to trust anyone at this point, but we can't live in a world all by ourselves because we need to trust people. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about the story, and let me know if you have any idea or ways that people can be more careful when it comes to letting friends or people into their homes that may turn out to be dangerous in the long run. Thank you for watching.